from our Toronto studios. This is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I am Ahmed Ramadan. The New York Times defends its investigation claiming Netanyahu delayed a ceasefire to stay in power. This and more in today's show. Stay tuned. Lawmakers are sounding the alarm over horrifying conditions at a new immigration detention center in Florida, built by the Trump administration in the Florida Everglades. After weeks of being denied entry, 3 Democratic Congress members finally toured the remote camp dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. They called it a de facto internment camp where detainees are crammed in tents, 32 per cage, in the sweltering heat. Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Maxwell Frost said detainees screamed, "Help me," as they walked by. Conditions reported include worm-infested food, backed-up toilets, flooding, and denial of medical care. Lawmakers were not allowed to meet detainees or access active living areas, only unused sections. Despite claims that the camp houses dangerous criminals, reports say more than 250 detainees have not been charged with any crime. The facility, which is costing $450 million a year, may soon hold 5,000 people. Observers say it is a humanitarian crisis hidden from public view, with no media allowed inside. A federal judge has ruled that immigrant officers cannot detain people based on race, language, or where they work. Judge Mame Frimpong issued 2 temporary restraining orders against Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, following controversial raids in Los Angeles. The orders block ICE from holding people without reasonable suspicion and bans the use of race, accents, or job sites as grounds for stops. The judge also ordered ICE to restore detainees' rights to confidential legal access. The case began after lawyers were sprayed with a chemical while trying to meet detainees at a downtown Los Angeles facility. The judge said the rights under the 4th and 14th Amendments apply to all, regardless of immigration status. ACLU lawyer Mohammed Tajjar said the ruling sends a clear message that constitutional rights apply to everyone. Despite criticism from former border chief Tom Homan, the court found the government's actions unlawful and discriminatory. The New York Times is standing by its explosive report accusing Israeli Prime Minister and ICC fugitive Benjamin Netanyahu of prolonging Israel's violence in Gaza to stay in power. The paper rejected Netanyahu's denial, saying his office failed to refute any facts. The report, based on more than 110 interviews and internal records, claims that Netanyahu delayed a ceasefire and derailed Saudi normalization of relations with Israel. This was to appease far-right allies and cling to power. Netanyahu's office dismissed the findings as politically motivated and praised his role in targeting Hamas and Iran. But the New York Times hit back, saying its job is to report in the public interest and hold leaders accountable regardless of party. A spokesperson for the newspaper said the statement from Netanyahu's office does not refute the facts of that reporting. 3 U.S. senators have strongly condemned Israeli efforts to expel Ayman Odeh, an Arab member of Israel's legislature, the Knesset. Senators Bernie Sanders, Peter Welch, and Chris Van Hollen called the move a threat to democracy. They said the expulsion push is in direct response to Odeh's bold calls for a ceasefire in Gaza and a political solution to Israel's genocide in the region. Odeh chairs the Hadash al-Ta'al party and is a longtime advocate for peace and Jewish-Arab partnership. The Israeli parliament's legal committee voted on June 30 to advance his impeachment over his support for the release of Palestinian detainees. A final Knesset vote needs a 90-seat supermajority to pass. Even if expelled, Odeh can appeal to the Israeli Supreme Court. The U.S. senators warn the move sends a chilling message to Israel's Palestinian citizens. They voice support for free speech for Arab and Jewish lawmakers without fear of political punishment. Food banks across the U.S. are bracing for a crisis as President Donald Trump's new law slashes food aid. It cuts billions from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, which supports more than 40 million Americans. Feeding America, a nationwide network of food banks, food pantries, and local meal programs, says the cuts could eliminate up to 9 billion meals annually. It says that it is far more than its network can replace. Visits to pantries are rising fast. In New York City, City Harvest saw nearly 46 million visits last year, almost double from 2019. The White House defends the move, calling it a push for common sense work rules, and says tax cuts will help families. But with food insecurity nearly doubling since 2021, charities warn the hunger crisis will worsen fast. They are pleading for urgent help from donors, farmers, and lawmakers. 4 U.S. high school students are in Dubai at the 57th International Chemistry Olympiad. The competition that began on July 5th ended Monday. The team included Adam Medni from Indiana, Yash Shah from North Carolina, William Wang from Washington, and Mag Zhao from California. They were selected through the U.S. National Chemistry Olympiad program. 2 students, Samuel Zhu from Massachusetts and Yaquing Liu from Texas, served as alternatives. The international competition brings together top young chemists from around the world to solve complex scientific problems. Organizers say the event promotes global collaboration and scientific excellence. Hundreds of mourners gathered in the West Bank town of Sinjil on Sunday to bury a 23-year-old Palestinian-American. Details coming up next. Israeli strikes killed at least 47 Palestinians across Gaza since Monday morning, including many near an aid center and water points. In the last 24 hours, Israeli forces killed 130 Palestinians across the region. Among the dead are children and journalist Fadi Khalifa, raising the death toll of media workers in Gaza to 230 since the start of Israel's genocide in October 2023. In Khan Yunis, a drone strike hit a tent sheltering displaced people. In one of the more disturbing targeted killings in central Gaza, Israeli forces targeted a water distribution point with a missile, killing 10 people, 6 of them children trying to collect water. At least 16 others were injured in the attack. More deaths were reported in Rafah and Gaza City neighborhoods. Since May 27, over 830 Palestinians have been killed while seeking aid, according to officials. Gaza Civil Defense says Israel has committed 112 massacres at water collection sites alone. Fuel shortages due to Israel's siege on Gaza have forced cities like Rafah and Khan Yunis to suspend vital services. Meanwhile, criticism grows over Israel's alleged plans for internment camps, with even Israeli opposition calling them concentration camps. Israel's genocide in Gaza has killed more than 64,000 Palestinians, the majority of them women, children, and elderly. According to Gaza's health ministry, 138,520 people have been wounded. Hundreds of mourners gathered in the West Bank town of Sinjil on Sunday to bury a 23-year-old Palestinian-American. Saifuddin Kamal Abdul Karim Muslat was beaten to death by illegal Israeli settlers. Another victim, 23-year-old Muhammad al-Shalabi, was shot in the chest during the same attack. Both were killed while trying to stop Israeli settlers from building a new illegal outpost near their village. Saif had returned home from the U.S. to celebrate Eid with his family. His uncle said settlers brutally assaulted him with metal rods and clubs. The Palestinian Health Ministry confirmed both deaths. According to official data, more than 770,000 settlers live in 436 illegal settlements and outposts across the West Bank. At least 2,153 settler attacks have been reported in the occupied territory this year alone. Since October, Israelis have killed nearly 1,000 Palestinians in the West Bank. Israeli settlements are a violation of international law according to the UN and the International Court of Justice. Indian authorities prevented political leaders in occupied Jammu and Kashmir from observing Martyrs' Day on Sunday. The annual event is held to commemorate the July 13, 1931 killing of 22 protesters. The uprising is widely regarded as the beginning of the region's first political movement. Security forces sealed major roads and placed several leaders under house arrest to stop them from visiting the Martyrs' graveyard in the region's capital, Srinagar. On Monday, Omar Abdullah, the elected chief minister of Indian-occupied Kashmir, was blocked at the site. The graveyard had long been a site of annual public remembrance, but Martyrs' Day was removed from the official holiday list after India revoked the region's autonomy in 2019. Abdullah called the restrictions undemocratic. A new political body has been launched to represent the Rohingya people globally and within Burma. The Arakan Rohingya National Council, or ARNC, formed by leaders from Burma in refugee camps and in the diaspora, officially launched on Sunday. The council says it will push for Rohingya rights, political representation, and recognition. It includes 100 members from across Rakhine State and refugee communities. ARNC cited decades of persecution, including the 2017 military-led genocide, as the reason for its formation. The council also accused the Arakan army of committing mass killings and driving out Rohingya civilians in recent months. It says more than 2,500 Rohingya have been killed and about 150,000 more have fled to Bangladesh. The security crisis, it said, has forced thousands into perilous sea and land journeys. No major repatriation has taken place since 2017, despite global efforts. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar held a phone call with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres on Sunday to discuss international peace and security. Dar reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to resolving global disputes through peaceful means. He also highlighted the country's dedication to multilateralism and its support for the United Nations and its personnel. Pakistan currently holds the rotating presidency of the UN Security Council for the month of July. During the call, Dar briefed the UN chief on key events Pakistan is organizing during its presidency to push forward global peace and security goals. Both leaders agreed to meet in person in New York next week to continue discussions during activities related to Pakistan's presidency. Dar, who also serves as Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister, underscored Islamabad's decades-long role in peacekeeping and international diplomacy. The Foreign Ministry called the conversation a reaffirmation of Pakistan's leading voice for peace on the global stage. In Nigeria, 44 people have been sentenced from 10 to 30 years of hard labor for financing Boko Haram militants. The verdicts were delivered at special courts inside a military base in Kanji, central Niger state. Authorities say the trials of 10 others are pending. Since 2017, Nigeria has been conducting mass trials for terrorism, securing more than 780 convictions. Boko Haram launched its violent insurgency in 2002. The group opposes Western education and blames it for corruption in Nigeria. Its attacks have killed tens of thousands and displaced millions across Nigeria and neighboring countries. The group gained global notoriety in 2014 after abducting 276 schoolgirls in Chibok and killing dozens of schoolboys in another raid. Its tactics include suicide bombings and armed assaults, including a deadly attack on the UN building in the country's capital, Abuja. A new study suggests a popular weight loss drug may also help shrink breast cancer tumors. Researchers presented findings at ENDO 2025, a global meeting on endocrinology research and clinical care being held in San Francisco this week. Their work showed that the drug tirzepatide significantly reduced body fat and tumor size in obese mice. The drug led to about 20% weight loss and a notable drop in breast tumor volume. Scientists say the results point to a strong link between reduced fat and better cancer outcomes. Researchers are now working to determine if the tumor reduction is directly due to the drug or just a result of weight loss. While still early, this discovery could lead to new strategies for fighting obesity-linked cancers. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.